Hey friends, Sleepy here, and welcome to another episode of my weekly playlist. It's Friday again. That means it's time for me to share with you guys the games I've been playing during the week. I'll give you guys my opinions, my thoughts on these games, but I'd also like to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on the games I share with you today. I'd love to hear about the games you guys are playing because I've gotten so many great ideas hearing about the games you guys play. I really appreciate you guys sharing the games with me each week, as I've discovered quite a few games and I have a nice growing list of games to check out. And if you guys have any recommendations on a game you think I should check out, let me know, because you guys have also suggested some really good games and I really appreciate it, especially from JR Man 331, Cats Games, whatever, my buddy Dean. Actually, two of these games I'm going to share with you guys today I'm actually playing because of my buddy Dean, and Nick T. Wolf and Mario, and quite a few other people have suggested some really wonderful titles over the last 2 years of me doing this series, and I have a nice growing list of games to check out, so I really appreciate all of your guys' suggestions as well. So we'll get started here, and I've got 3 games for the Xbox One, so I've been kind of on a kick back off the modern games here with Xbox One, and the first one is one that I'm continuing my journey on, and I first started it last week, and that was Cyberpunk 2077. I bought the collector's edition a few weeks ago now, and I'm really glad that I decided to take a chance and picked up this game because it is fantastic. They have fixed pretty much all the bugs and issues, because when this game originally launched there was a lot of graphical glitches and bugs that made the game crash, and people just really hated it, and it got a lot of hate. I mean, it was even bad enough that they were refunding people on the Microsoft and Sony store, and they actually delisted it for a few weeks. Eventually they did bring it back, but you know, it was kind of one of those things that the damage is already done, and it was just critically hated by everybody. Just was considered a really bad game, and I didn't know if I was ever going to actually pick it up or check it out. But as I had been doing more research on the game and checking it out, you know, I decided, like, you know, I might want to just give the game a chance. And then what really put me over the edge of wanting to buy it was I actually ran into the collector's edition strategy guide for only 15 bucks, and I love strategy guides, so I picked it up and figured, you know, I'd check out the strategy guide and read through it and just see if it's something that would really interest me. And just reading through it really piqued my interest. I'm like, you know, I think I'm going to buy this game and give it a try because it's getting so cheap. And then I happened to run into the collector's edition, and I'm so glad I picked up because it's definitely a really good game that I am really enjoying. It's a first-person adventure game. It plays similar to like the Fallout games. I get a lot of Fallout vibes to it, the way the controls are, because it does control really well. There is some third person in the game, but it's only when you actually are in a vehicle, whether you're driving a car or a motorcycle. If you're driving a motorcycle, you can see your character, how he looks. Otherwise, the game always plays in first person. One thing I really would have loved is if it had a third person view, because when I play my Fallout games, I like to play them in third person, except when I'm in combat. When I'm in combat, I like first person because it's a lot easier to aim with the weapons and stuff. But other than that little minor issue, you know, I'm really enjoying the game. It has a really solid story. I'm about 15 hours in, and I have been doing a lot of side stuff because you have a wonderful main story that you get to go through, but then you also have a whole bunch of side missions, side gigs, and just random encounters to go through. And what's really cool is that it has a nice giant map of the city, and it's an interactive map, and there's all kinds of different little waypoints on the map where they'll tell you where different missions are at, and you can set, you know, a tracker, and you can track where you're going to, and it's just really cool. And you'll, as you run around the city, you know, you'll actually get alerts of different missions that are available in that area that you can then take on if you want to. There's random crime and stuff where you can fight enemies and stuff and kill, which I've found really fascinating. I really like the music in the game. I just love the overall cyberpunk setting. Just a really well-crafted game now that it has the patches. And it was like a 50 gig patch too. It took a while to download on top of the 50 gig install for the game. But after I got that patch, you know, I have not experienced any issues. Now, I have been playing on an Xbox One X. I have heard that if you play on an original Xbox One or an original PS4, not a PS4 Pro or Xbox One X, that you will run into more graphical glitches and slowdown and stuff, as those consoles just aren't powerful enough for this game. But for me, I've been playing my Xbox One X and I've had absolutely no issues at all. Obviously, this is one of those games that was optimized for the Xbox Series X, but with the patches and stuff, it does work wonderful on the Xbox One X, and I'm having a blast with this game. It's really cool. It has a really deep customization for your character, like the greatest I've seen in a game before. I mean, you can change, the hair, the face, skin tone. I mean, you can even change how big your boobs are, or if you want to have the dick size, or vagina, pubic hair color. I'm like it's just crazy the customization that they have in this game. That it goes that deep, but it's really cool. So you can play male, female, or anything in between. So there's it's there for anybody's taste, which is cool. And then you interact with the story, and it's just great having that cyberpunk setting. Highly recommend you guys give Cyberpunk 2077 a chance if you never have. I would say go ahead and wait for this to go down to like about $20 or so, as I see this game dropping. I mean, it's already selling brand new in my area for about $40. Now if you go on the Microsoft Marketplace or PSN or something, they still want $60. I definitely wouldn't say the game is worth a full $60, but I would definitely say it's worth about $40. But I know most people want to wait till it gets cheaper. And if you guys do wait, because it's been almost a year, give it till like next year or something. This will definitely be one of those $20 titles, and it definitely be worth it. It's one of these games where you can get a lot of hours of content. Like I see myself getting a couple hundred hours, as I want to do everything in the game. There's so many side missions and stuff, and that's why I'm so glad I have that strategy guide, because it's going to come in very handy. But definitely suggest you guys check out Cyberpunk 2077. Don't listen to all the reviews and everybody just kind of jumped on the hate wagon. You got to give it a try for yourself. You might not like it, or you might be like me and really love the game and found out that it was awesome. I'm so glad that I picked up. So for me, picking up that collector's edition for $90 was a hell of a deal and totally worth it for me, because I know I'm going to get my money's worth, as I'm going to put a lot of time into this game, and I'm absolutely loving it, and I can't wait to beat it. And I do know that there are several different endings, so that is really cool, and different choices you do in the game affect different stuff, so very cool. Definitely check out Cyberpunk 2077. And now we'll talk about two games here. This first one, both of these games were suggested to me by my good buddy Dean. He told me that this game was actually coming out soon, and make sure you pre-order because it's exclusive physically to GameStop. You can download it digitally, but only GameStop has copies, and I had to order it online because none of the local stores have it. And that is Necroman Hired Gun, and this is set in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. So I'll read you guys the back. It says, become the ultimate hired gun, navigate an ocean of crime and corruption in an indie, fast-paced, violent, and thrilling FPS set in the darkest reaches of Warhammer 40,000's most infamous hive city. So it's really cool. It's a first-person shooter. It gives me a lot of Doom vibes, just ultra-violent killing. It's got badass, epic, like heavy metal and like rock music that like plays as you're going through battles, and it just really gets your adrenaline pumped up to want to fight enemies and stuff. It's just freaking awesome, and I love the kill animations, because you can you obviously have your guns and stuff, but you also have a melee weapon and a sword, and it's just awesome. My dude like grabbed some lady and just stabbed her like 15 times in the head, and then just threw her to the side, and you can shoot people and heads will explode and blood will be everywhere, and blow people up and their bodies get all mangled and stuff, and it's just awesome. Has really good voice actors too, which is really great. Like I've been playing a lot of games lately, and they have picked really wonderful people to voice the characters, and their voices actually fit the characters. I'm sure some of you, like me, you've been playing games for a long time, and if you play some of the old games, sometimes the people they chose were just kind of poor quality voice actors. The voices didn't fit the character at all. You got a big burly guy, but it sounds like a little timid dude. It just didn't fit. Bro, this game, the voices are great and they fit the characters and the narratives. This is one of those games where it's not like an open world game or anything. It's going through the story, go from point A to point B, and experience the story as a typical first person shooter. But I'm absolutely loving the game. I've gone through the first chapter of the game, and so each of the levels are broke up into different chapters that you can then go through and play through the story. But what's really cool is you can actually replay them, because there actually is a ranking system on how well you do as far as how you kill, and how fast you go through levels and the style and stuff you do, and whether you die or you don't die, and you get graded on all that stuff. There's also secrets to find in different levels. Like I've been the first one, there was 5 chests, but I actually only found 1, and so you can actually reload those previous chapters, and you can go back and find the stuff that you were missing, which is really cool. It has RPG elements, so you can upgrade your character with augmentations and make your character have different abilities and stuff, like you can slow down time for a second, or you can have a better chance to aim. Like, it's just really cool. A variety of weapons. So far I just have a pistol and a machine gun, but I know there's a bunch of different things you can unlock. There's different things you can equip, armor, and different things that can affect your stats, like give you more health and more ammo and things like that. And it's a really good game. Now, this was originally launched just as a digital game, but they had said that they were going to release physical ones for consoles, and GameStop is the exclusive partner, at least for now, because GameStop had that with like the Ghostbusters video game remaster and like the Helmet. There's been a few games that were exclusive to GameStop, but eventually other retailers got them. I don't know if this is going to be one of those games or not, but definitely a pretty hard to find game physically. It's only $39.99, so it is a budget title, and it is definitely worth it, especially if you're a fan of the Doom games. How you just love that running around and brutal violence and killing and epic music that just fucking gets you excited to kill and shit. This game is for you, man. I love the battle music. It just gets your adrenaline pumping, and it's really cool. Got interesting characters in the world, interesting enemies to fight, which is cool, variety stuff. You also get this really cool Cyber Mastiff, and it's a dog, and you can set him out to attack enemies and kill them for you. And let me just tell you guys that this game gets freaking difficult. I'm only playing on normal. There's like 4 different difficulty settings, and even on normal, enemies will swarm you and will eat through your health like crazy, because this does not have that regenerating health or anything. You have to find health, but if you kill enemies, you get health back. And sometimes your Mastiff will find it for you. You have to keep an eye on your ammo, because you only have so much ammo, but you do find it in the world as you kill enemies. There's also credits where you find throughout the world, and you use that money to actually buy new weapons and buy upgrades and upgrade yourself and stuff. And there's merchants and stuff in the game, and it's just really cool game that I'm having a blast with. Like I said, so far I've just beat the first chapter on this, but I'm definitely looking forward to beating this game, and I really want to thank my buddy Dean for suggesting this game to me and let me know about it, and I'm glad I didn't miss it out. This actually just launched this week physically. It came out Tuesday, but GameStop had to ship it out, and so I actually received it yesterday on Thursday, and that's when I first started playing it. I'm having an absolute blast, so definitely recommend you guys check out Necroman Hired Gun. It's on the PS4, it's on the Xbox One, of course it's on the Series X and PS5, it's also on the PC. I did read some reviews where people were complaining about the game having issues, but there was a 5 gig patch for it that I downloaded when I installed it, and I've had no issues at all. And reading the reviews from other people who said that after the patch it fixed the game and completely made it enjoyable. I'm absolutely loving it. I definitely think you guys should give it a try. If you guys are a fan of first-person shooters, you like games like Doom, you'll be right at home with Necroman Hired Gun. It's a fantastic game, and I'm loving it, and I'm so glad I picked up a copy. And the last game here is another one suggested by my buddy Dean. I actually picked it up on Thursday as well. They happen to have a couple copies brand new at my local game store. And this is actually a Redux version of this game that was released originally for Xbox One and PS4. Yeah, I think it was like in 2017 or something. But it's called Observer System Redux. And so this is a remastered version that was released because it sold so well. It was originally only digitally available. A great thing is this physical copy was only $29.99, so $30 brand new. My buddy Dean was talking about and telling me you gotta play because this is a cyberpunk horror game. He knows I love cyberpunk things like Obviously, I've been enjoying Cyberpunk 2077, but I like things like Blade Runner, and I just love the whole cyberpunk setting. And so he told me you should definitely check it out. So I'll give you guys a little thing about it. So it says, what if your fears were hacked? The year is 2084 in a dark cyberpunk world shattered by plagues and wars. Become a neural police detective and hack into the jagged minds of others. Make use of anything they felt, thought, or remember to solve the case and catch the elusive killer. And then it talks about the System Redux rebuilt and augmented for the next generation. Observer System Redux is the definitive vision of one of the most acclaimed cyberpunk stories in games. It had a new story too. It said that they added 3 brand new side quests to solve. Errant Signal, Her Fearful Symmetry, and It Runs in the Family. And then it says there's expanded gameplay, so there's new game mechanics, redesigned stealth, as well as boasting the 4K resolution, upgraded textures, jaw-dropping ray tracing, and HDR lighting. So they added stuff that wasn't in the original version of the game, which is really cool. So I played the Necroman Hired Gun for a little while, and then I decided I wanted to pop this in and check it out as well. And I got this game installed, and I'm glad that I checked this one out because it is awesome. So it is a first-person adventure horror game. It has the cyberpunk setting. It takes place in Poland, and you play as a main character, Daniel. Gotta remember his last name. It's like Lazarus. I'm pretty sure it's Daniel Lazarus. So Dan, and it is voiced by Rutger Hauer. If you guys remember him from the old Blade Runner movies and stuff, and he did voice acting stuff. He actually passed away in 2019, and they had a nice little message at the beginning saying that this remaster was a tribute to him and his work in film and voice acting and stuff. So he's a great voice actor. So he voices the main character, and it just is a really fantastic story. It's a horror game. It's a dark, depressing world. The world was ravaged by a nanophage, it's called, where everybody in like in these cyberpunk worlds, they're all about augmenting themselves with technology and computers and stuff, basically interfacing your body with it. And because people were doing that stuff, there was actually a virus, a disease that killed a whole bunch of people with the hell these augmentations and stuff. And then right after that, a world war, basically a World War III broke out, and humanity was a lot of people died, reduced to stuff, and there's this corporation that ends up taking over in the ashes and pretty much is controlling everybody's lives. And now it's in the year 2084, and so you're a detective. And what's really cool is this game is a lot about solving crimes and murders and investigation stuff. And your character, since he has cybernetic implants and stuff, he has superpowers and abilities to observe crime scenes and stuff, and he actually has different vision modes that he can turn on, and he can investigate like a body and tell them that it's a human, identify who they are. He can hack into like tech stuff and pick up where the hack things are on the ground. He can analyze like blood samples and stuff, and it's really cool because you have to start piecing together stuff. And so far it's all taking place in a apartment complex. And it's just really cool. And like I said, now you guys do know I don't like to ruin a story for you, so I don't go into too much detail of why you go to this apartment complex, but you go to it, and as you're investigating stuff, you actually will uncover other side missions that you can do. You don't have to do them as by the main story, but as you do, you learn other stuff. It has an amazing atmosphere too. The graphics are just awesome. The music, the lighting, everything sets the mood, and I highly recommend. If you guys got a good headset, like I have a nice Turtle Beach headset, I play all my Xbox One games with it. It really immerses you in the world because you hear all the ambient noise and stuff. Like you just don't get it through the speakers or your TV. If you have the headset on, you'll hear a lot more stuff. And there are some pretty freaky things in this game because it has horror elements too, because it's a horror game. And I remember there's one part where I was searching through an office, and I really listen to the eerie music and stuff, and I'm turning. All of a sudden, I turn around and there was like an NPC dude there, and it just like freaked my character up, but it freaked me out as well. It's like, Jesus, where the fuck did you come from? Just like it's just completely quiet. And you turn around and boom, there's a dude right there in your face. So there are kind of jump scares like that and stuff, and just freaky shit. It's really cool too. Another ability he has is whether the person you run into other people, tenants of the thing, and you can interrogate them and ask them questions and stuff. And sometimes they're actually in their apartment, they're on their little view screen, so you can't actually see them. But other times you will run into people, and what's just cool is he has this ability to jack into people's minds, and he can see things that they're doing, or if they died or something, you could jack into their body and you can watch how they died and see what they feel and everything. And so your character observes all that stuff, so it's really cool. He has a little device on his hand and his wrist. And another thing that's in the game that's really interesting too, though, is there's like a psychological aspect to it where he has to take pills and stuff, because like he'll see something really horrible and it'll make his like psyche break down, and you have to take this pill to help you restore it. If you don't, you can actually die in the game. So I did hear that there are ways to die. There's really no combat that I know of. It's more of like an exploration game and solving puzzles and stuff. This is definitely one that you can get lost, because the game really doesn't hold your hand, which you could get a strategy guide online for it. But I would recommend try to figure out stuff on your own. Like sometimes you'll run into like, well, there's a keypad somewhere to unlock a door. You got to figure out the code. Of course, you could just look it up, but that kind of defeats the purpose, because if you explore through the game, it'll actually tell you what the number is. You'll find the clues somewhere. Maybe you'll see the code somewhere, and you'll remember, oh yeah, I wonder if that code will work on that door, and it does. And so I found myself really fascinated by the puzzle aspect of the game too. I'm loving this game, and for $30, it is hell of a game. Definitely worth it. It's one that has more than one ending too, which is cool, so I'll definitely want to play through this more than once, just because I'm really immersed in the game world. I just love the characters, the setting. It's just a fantastic game. And again, I want to thank Dean so much. Thanks, man, for recommending this game. So glad that I picked this up. This is definitely gonna be one of those games like the Necroman Hired Gun where it's gonna be hard to find a physical copy of this game in the future. Now, this game actually only had a really small install. It was only 6 gigs, and it installed completely from the disc. No updates or anything at all for the game, and I've been playing and I've had no issues at all. So that's something that's really I really like, is when a whole game is on the disc and it launches without any issues or anything like that. So far I have not run into any issues at all. Maybe I will, as I play further in the story, but right now I have had no issues at all, and I've played this for about 4 hours, and I'm really loving the game, and I can't wait to beat this story. It's great, and you guys definitely should pick it up. So definitely get Observer System Redux. Like I said, if you want to get it physically, I would definitely start picking it up now, because it's only $30 brand new. Of course, you can buy it digitally online, but if you want to get it physical, definitely want to get it sooner than later, because it's going to be one of those harder to find games because they had a very small print run. So as always, guys, we'll do our quick little recap like we always do. I talked about Cyberpunk 2077, a fantastic game. Now that it's been patched, it's a first-person game that plays just like the Fallout games. I mean, that's how it feels to me. Voice acting is done really well. It has a great story, a lot of main missions to do, side missions, side gigs. There's cars and things. It's open world. You can do stuff whatever you want to. A lot of hours of content. Definitely recommend you guys give it a try. Don't listen to all the hate. It's not as bad as people made it out to be, especially now that it's been patched. Definitely pick it up, try it out for yourself, and see if you like it. I definitely do recommend it. Also talked about Necroman Hired Gun. This just came out physically this week. Fantastic first-person shooter. If you love the games like Doom and stuff, and you like epic music that gets your adrenaline pumping in battles and stuff, this is definitely the game for you. It's ultra violent and gory. I love it. Great voice acting, great story, interesting characters. You definitely can't go wrong with this. And then we also talked about Observer System Redux. This is a wonderful remake of the 2017 game that was originally released on Xbox One. It's been optimized for Xbox Series X, PS5, but it still works wonderful on your Xbox One X like I have. It's a fantastic cyberpunk horror story. You're a detective and you get to investigate different murders and stuff. You get to actually hack into people's minds, whether they're alive or dead, and you can learn secrets about them, solve crimes and stuff. You have main cases to do, but then you also have side ones you can do, which is really cool. And it has more than one ending, and it has a very compelling story. I love the music, the lighting, the atmosphere. Everything just draws you in. Definitely think you guys should check it out. But let me know your guys' thoughts if you played any of these 3 games. I'd also like to hear about the games you guys are playing, and if you have any recommendations on a game you think I should check out, let me know, as you guys always do recommend really good titles. I want to thank you guys for watching. Take care. You guys have an amazing day, and Sleepy will see you guys next time.